Hi everyone. So instead of writing a really long email explaining what's due over the next 2 weeks, I just wanted to try to create a short video to make sure everybody understands what's going on. So now that you've completed a peer review, you should have gotten feedback on your survey, what questions might be leading or biased or confusing, what parts of the survey are redundant or missing, so on and so forth. Your job is to, with your group, revise the survey to finalize it, okay? And then in week 7, what you're going to do in the background of week 7, and I say background because I'm going to trust that you're doing this without requiring proof. You just have this deadline at the end of the week that you have to meet. So what you're going to be doing in the background for that deadline is you need to distribute your survey to at least 30 people. At least 30 people have to take your survey. 30 is a statistically important number. If you have 2 people take your survey and one says yes to question 1 and one says no to question 2, you cannot say 50% of people. That's unethical. It's illogical. That is in no way evidence that 50% of all people feel that way. But the way statistics work, when you get to numbers like 1,000 versus 1,100 people. Once you get to bigger numbers, those differences don't make as much of a difference. They don't usually change the statistics, only by really, really tiny amounts. So 30 is the minimum, okay? You have to have 30 people take your survey. To help you out, on Monday, part of the assignment for October 1st is your group should, before Monday, if possible, before Monday, go into collaborations. When you log on to Canvas, you'll see this word collaboration on the menu on the left. If you open collaborations, you'll find a Google Doc called Post Survey Here. Find your group number and post a link to your survey. Then what I would ask everyone to do on Monday, or if you don't get it done on Monday, do it on Tuesday. Go in there and take other groups' surveys for them. Now, if your group only needs people from a certain group of people to take the survey, for example, let's say your group only wants people who commute to campus to take this survey, or your group only wants people who live on campus to take the survey, put a note under the link saying, we want people who blah, blah, blah to take this survey, so people can see that before they open the survey. So just to help you out, I've created a Google Doc, and I would ask you all to take each other's surveys. That being said, there are not enough people in this class for you to get 30 responses, so you will have to find some people to take your survey, and surely you all have at least 2 friends who can take the survey, okay? So you have to get 30 responses before Friday at the latest, and I say at least because 40 is better than 30, okay? See what you can do, but 30 is the minimum, okay? Now, that's happening, and I'm just trusting that you're getting that done, that you're posting your link, that you're taking other people's surveys. That's what's happening in the background. In the foreground, you're going to read the prompt that goes for the report that you're going to do individually, okay? So the report is not something you write in groups. You write it alone, okay? You're going to read the prompt, and then you're going to read the chapter and watch the video on reports, and then you're going to read the chapter and watch the video on graphics. That's what you're going to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, okay? That's all happening individually. It's graded. Canvas will tell you it's due, okay? Now, at the end of the week, after you've distributed your surveys, you have something due in groups, which is you have to have one more meeting that I want proof of, and that's the meeting where you get together to discuss what the survey means, okay? So even though you're writing individual reports, even though you're writing individual reports, you are going to recommend the same things, and you're going to use the same data because you did the surveys together. So your group has to get together to discuss what you think the data means. So for example, if you asked a question in number 2 and 27 out of 30 people answered the same way. What does that mean? What does that mean? Should you change the feature? Should you not change the feature? How should you change the feature? What will you recommend? Does this mean people understood the question? People didn't understand the question? Did it mean that people like the feature, don't like the feature? Does it mean people understand how the program works, doesn't understand? Like, what does it mean for FIU? That this is what people believe. So you have to get together and decide, what are we going to say our conclusions are? What are we going to say our recommendations are? Okay, in order to have that meeting, you have to have finished distributing the surveys, okay? So for most groups, this is what I imagine, that you are going to distribute the surveys, then you're going to submit an agenda for the meeting where you're going to discuss the surveys. The agenda is due by Friday. Then either Saturday, Sunday, or sometime on Monday, you are going to meet, discuss what recommendations you're going to make, discuss what conclusions you can draw from the data, and then on Monday night before midnight, you're going to turn in the meeting minutes and the proof of the meeting. Okay? That's sort of like how I imagined it. Of course, there is wiggle room. Let's say your group decides you want to meet on Friday. That's fine. You can turn in the agenda early, but you also, if you're going to meet on Friday, have to have finished collecting questionnaires by Thursday to meet on Friday and then turn in the meeting minutes and proof of meeting. If you want to meet on Wednesday, that's fine, but you need to have collected 30 questionnaires by Wednesday, turn in the agenda before the meeting, have the meeting, turn in the meeting minutes and the proof of the meeting. For most groups, what's going to make more sense is to take the whole week to collect as many responses as you can, have the meeting, either turn in the agenda before the meeting, and then have the meeting either Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, and turn in the meeting minutes and the proof of the meeting before midnight on Monday. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay, after you have turned in your meeting minutes and your proof of a meeting, you are essentially done with the group work portion. In week 8, which is October 8th to the 12th, you are going to be working mostly on writing the report individually. And I'm going to release videos in the next few days that explain what the report should look like, that explain how to use graphics and all that, so I'm not going to talk about that here, but I just want to give you a gist of what's due. During week 8, you personally, individually are writing a report using the data your group collected, making the recommendation that your group all agreed on, and then you're going to turn it in on Friday the 12th for a peer review. Okay? So at the end of the second week, right, at the end of week 8, you're going to turn in your draft for a peer review. The other thing you are going to turn in on Friday the 12th is your group member evaluation. And that's where you'll get to tell me who was a great team member, who was the MVP, most valuable player. And you're going to tell me who didn't really pull their weight. You get to tell me all of that at the end of week 8. Okay? So essentially this week you're distributing surveys, you're taking each other's surveys, and you're learning about reports and graphics in the next part of the project. At the end of this week, you're going to have a meeting where you discuss what the surveys mean, and you're going to turn in all the stuff related to that meeting, the agenda, the minutes, and the proof of the meeting. And then next week, you're going to write your report, turn in a draft, and evaluate your group members. Hopefully that makes sense to you. If you have any questions, please just let me know. If you look at the prompt on that I posted, the first one, you will see that at the very bottom, I put all the due dates. So you can scroll and see those. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and let me know, and I will answer them for you. And I think that about covers it. It just popped into my head, so I want to be really clear on this. You cannot take your own survey, okay? Groups cannot take their own survey for bias and ethical reasons, okay? If you were working in a company and you were trying to find out a client's opinion, for example, you are not the client. So it's important that you do not take your own survey. You need to find 30 people who are not in your group to take the survey. The other thing I would bring up in terms of ethics is do not post your survey to the collaboration tool if you do not intend to take other groups' surveys. It's sort of a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours situation. If you're going to post, be prepared to take other people's surveys, okay? I hope that makes everything clear. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll, again, put videos and announcements and answer any questions via email that I can to make sure everybody understands what's going on. But the very, very next step is revise and finalize your survey, post it to collaborations, and start collecting responses. Okay? Let me know if you have any questions.